Today, I want to focus on a disturbing trend that I've noticed in the last few years on social media, which is the proliferation of what I call mean monkey mommy videos. And in these videos, you'll see newborns and infants and juvenile non human primates, specifically macaques, being abused by their mothers. Any basic search for baby monkey videos will often generate countless variations of this theme of mean monkey mommies. And you'll see them coupled with keyword phrases or hashtags such as million pity or million sadness. And almost all of them share the following characteristics. One, almost all of these videos are filmed at the Angkor Wat Temple Complex in Cambodia or in areas frequented often by humans. This means that we're seeing a very specific group of animals in extremely stressed situations. These areas also host a large population of former pet monkeys who were abused by humans as infants, sometimes horrifically so. And then they're abandoned in these parks. And if they survive and they breed, then they are much more likely to pass on abusive behaviors that they learned from human beings. And then that behavior starts to get transmitted into the wild troops. Mother macaques are pretty good moms, statistically. But we're human and we judge things based on what we see. And if all we see are these negative videos, then of course we're going to come to the natural assumption that macaques are bad mothers. And this is false. Most research estimates that about 5 to 10% of infant macaques will experience some form of abuse from their mother. This is usually learned behavior, so the mother will pass it down from generation to generation, which is very similar to human behaviors. Another thing that these videos have in common is that they're almost entirely filmed by non-vetted private individuals with monetized YouTube channels that stand to gain from promoting negative or divisive or traumatic content. So in 2017, a Cambridge study was released that researched over 3 million social media posts. And in this study, they found that posts with divisive or negative or traumatic content generated twice as much engagement as neutral posts or posts that had more positive content in it. So these kinds of mean mommy videos where you see a monkey mother supposedly being abusive to their baby generates a lot of discussion. And whenever you engage with the post, then you drive up the algorithms that make it popular. And depending on what kind of channel it is, you also help them profit off of it. But another reason why this is a profitable thing for the VOs to do is that it portrays them as kind of heroes. Sometimes they will even quote unquote, I'm using air quotes, rescue the baby, and people will actually send them money for this. It is completely orchestrated. Another way that these videos all intersect with each other is that they impose human values onto non-human primate societies, often in decontextualized or human orchestrated events. So you might see the traumatic moments of weaning, but you won't see the reconciliation between the mother and the child. Weaning is a gradual process that happens over the course of months. It varies from species to species, but generally speaking, mothers will start weaning their babies around 4 to 6 months, and then they will finish around 1 year of age. And it is not a pleasant process. Macaque babies are very vocal and demonstrative in their displeasure at things. So when we see, especially the start of weaning, it can look very, very traumatic because the mother will push, the mother will hold the baby down, the mother will bite, sometimes gently, sometimes not so gently, depending on the mood that she's in. And these can seem like random attacks, especially if the VO doesn't tell you that the mother is trying to wean the baby. And often they don't. And what they also fail to show in these weaning processes is the reconciliation that happens after conflict, because to show that would be to go against the narrative of these macaques are terrible to their babies. So, one other thing that these videos do that I think is worth mentioning is that they add fuel to the monkey hate community. And I use air quotes around that word community because I don't know that you can have a community of sociopaths. And that is pretty much the psychological profile of most of these individuals. There are other researchers and YouTubers who have done a profoundly excellent job of exposing and explaining the monkey hate community. Yardfish has done excellent work in this, and I'll link to some of his videos in the comments. And if you haven't seen them, I really, really recommend them. But these videos add to a series of lies and misconceptions and half truths that are decontextualized in order to present this kind of general malignment of an entire group of animals, an entire species of animals. And this generates this terrible reputation that increases human conflict with that species. And then that increase in conflict increases the need to see these videos in order to justify human hatred for these animals. So, in other words, it becomes this kind of cycle of abuse that we as humans are perpetuating.